Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I say it every week. I don't take days for granted. I don't take you for granted. I don't take this journey for granted. I want to remind you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, and you are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you are great. You're created out of love. You're created out of greatness. You are created out of perfection, but you're not expected to be perfect through this journey. We're striving for perfection. The expectation is the progress. It's the process. It's the continuing of getting up. It's the continuing of true self-discovery. Okay, we're spirit with soul wrapped in this flesh. Who we know now, and most of the time where we operate from, and I said this before, it's a false identity. We are spirit. Our original DNA is kingdom. We have kingship. We're royalty. We're priesthood. We're sons of God. It is not about a gender. It is about what we have a right and authority of receiving. It's who we are. Man, we're love, okay? We were created from love. We are loved, and we are to give love. We're loved by God. That's who we are. That's who we are. Jehovah God. He loved us so much that he created us in his likeness and his image. So it's Meal Prep Monday. And I've been talking about character. I've been talking about our character because it was laid on my heart a couple months ago to forgive me. I'm trying to pull up my notes, but it was laid on my heart a couple months ago about setting a belief system. And as I was thinking about it, I'm like, how can we set up a belief system when we don't really even know who we are or whose we are? So we're going to set the belief system based upon where we are. But I need to help you understand that when we do that, we are minimizing who we truly are, because we'll set a belief system based on where we're at. When we're always striving, we're always growing, we're always progressing. So we have to learn our character so that we can learn our integrity. We need to become integral. We need to be able to have a character where we do things seen or unseen, because it just becomes who you are. And it's really not hard to do, because the true you, the true self of you is created. It's your spirit. Okay. The flesh is where we operate from, because we operate outward in. Okay. We operate outward in, but the truth of our original DNA is inward out. It's the soul that we're feeding. So when we can recognize that the spirit, God created you before he even created the earth. He sat down and he designed your day one to your last day before he even thought of anything you can physically see, physically touch, physically do. He already said, okay, on January 28, 1973, I'm going to bring Nicole into the earth, and I am going to allow Nicole to come from Norman and Sunny. And then I'm going to allow her to be birthed into this environment. Y'all don't get it, man. He starts it. And then he already wrote out my adolescence. He wrote out my teenager. He wrote out my adulthood. He wrote out the trials and the tribulations. He already knew what was going to happen to me that was going to hurt me. He already knew what was going to happen to me that was going to excite me. He already knew how many children I was going to have. This is a fixed fight, and we already won. We just got to walk it out. That's why when we can start coming from that place, We can count it all joy, every trial and tribulation. That's why when we start living from that space, we can make it through. That's why when we celebrate things, we don't become arrogant and proud, but we become humble and grateful. It's all the perspective of where we're operating from. So it's Meal Prep Monday. Man, that was a mouthful. I didn't even get. I'm still trying to find my notes, y'all. I'm still trying to find my notes. But when I tell you, it's the inner me that I choose to no longer be my enemy. If I'm going to stir something up, I'm going to stir up what already lives in me. And that's what I want to pour out. Meal Prep Monday. Why are you saying all this to me, Nicole? Why? Because this is what I want to do. I want us to get to a place where one, and this is nothing I haven't said before, but I want us to understand that there is a true self and there is a false self that we live in. And truth be told, I've been around Joy all weekend. That's her cliche, truth be told. But the truth be told, we operate more from our false self than our true self. So how do we be the best version of us unapologetically? You got to get to knowing your true identity. Okay? So here's the deal. And a lot of us, and go back to the YouTube. I am Nicole D. Jones. Write it out like a sentence. It'll come up. I've been talking about these different things about our character or the lack thereof. What things that stop us from building our character and being consistent in our character. Okay? Because a lot of times we get these messages, we plug into personal growth and self-development, and we do it all to learn how to do specific things, right? To be the better version of us. But if our foundation, if we don't start digging at the roots of things that hinder us, we'll always be doing this whole back and forth thing. So I am just in a place where I understand that the journey's going to end, okay? So I don't want to waste a lot of time with the back and forth. And one revelation that I have come to at this juncture in my journey is that until I choose to deal with foundational things, the foundation of me is the true me. So I don't want to keep building on a foundation that's not solid, okay? This is why I'm saying we got to go back to our original DNA. You've got to understand that there is a true you and there is a false you, okay? And what I mean by that is you have to be willing to transform. You have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing, even as we grow in age, there should become wisdom, maturity. All these different things should start coming from us. But if we don't recognize that we've done some things but backwards, we'll never try to get it right. Okay? So to be your true self, you have got to get to a place where you know Jehovah God. Okay? This is not about religion. It's about relationship. We're spirit with a soul wrapped in this flesh. We were created by Jehovah God. So in order to know the true you and the depth and the fullness of you, you got to know him. Know him. Knowing him is more than believing him. All right? I believe in God. Okay. But do you know him? Do you know him to be a healer? And to know someone, you've got to experience that person. You got to experience them. You got to have a relationship with them. When you get to know someone, you got to experience them. It's got to go past a belief. Okay? You can believe that I'm cool. Okay? But until you experience me, until you have time with me, you don't know if that's right or wrong. You can believe, a lot of people believe I'm mean. Okay. A lot of people believe I'm unapproachable. A lot of people believe I'm superficial. A lot of people believe I am money driven. A lot of people believe these things. But do they know me? Because if you get to know me, that's not true. I'm not mean. Okay. I'm not a mean person. Mean is a posture of the heart. That I'm not mean, but do I stand in my truth? Do I stand in my authority? Sure. Can that be intimidating to people? Yeah. But guess what? If you're intimidated, maybe you got to look at some foundational things in you. Okay. I'm not money driven. Do I have nice things? Could I have worked for them maybe? I really do have a full-time job. Like I get a check. Okay. Maybe I work for the things that I have. I don't chase them. And because I don't chase them, they come to me. All right. Because there is a couple people who chose to not just believe things about me, but they've chosen to become relational with me to get to know me. All right. So maybe the things you see could be just fruits of my labor. So, all right. So you got to know him. All right. To know you, you can't do it without knowing him. And you've got to be willing to go a step further. This is why I say this is not a religious thing. It's a relational thing. All right. How can you be the best version of you unapologetically when you don't even know who created you? So on the natural side of this, all right? Because in creation of you, God saw fit to create you from the two people he created you from. You can only be created by man and woman, sperm and egg, okay? Even if they've come up with technology ways to make them connect, at the end of the day, it takes those two things, period, all right? So even in writing out your journey, he already knew you, and your journey is not based on who or what those two things are or are not. There's purpose for Nicole. So whatever my dad did and did not do, right and or wrong, whatever my mom did or did not do, right and or wrong, it doesn't matter as far as me, what I do, am I right or wrong? Because that's their journeys, their journeys. This is my journey, all right? Dad, mom, me, okay? But God saw fit to bring those two things to create me. I hope this makes sense. So, because of this, I have to know him. Why did you give me an 100% Asian mama that was strict and didn't show love the way you have me show love? And I went through my whole little childhood feeling rejected. Well, really not my childhood. I think I had a really good childhood. It's just as I got older, like when I started becoming and coming into myself, we have different love languages. So that would just happen to be a little, traumatizing to a sister. But it all worked together for my good, because the way I love was created from the love I received or didn't receive. Okay? He gave me a dad that was military. So he was always gone. He was always traveling. We weren't connected until I became a teenager. And then even when I physically got there, I had to learn through the lack of connection what connection was. Because as a child, I thought we weren't connected because he was traveling with the military. But once I'm there and I'm with you and it's just me and you, it's not me, him, my dad, my mom and my sister, it's just me and him, and there still was no connection. I had to learn in my journey. Okay? So I say all that to say your journey is individual. Who you are. That's why you're wonderfully and you're uniquely created with purpose. You alone are a gift. So you receive the gift that you are for yourself first, and you start unpacking the gift. You start unbowing the gift. As you're doing it, you're talking to the Abba Father that has created you as the gift. This is how you know your true self. Nicole, I gave you a pink bow because I'm gonna allow that to be your favorite color, because in that, it's gonna show you red is the blood of me. White is the light of me. I mixed it together and I made it pink for you. That's a revelation for me. That's why it's pink for me. All right. So you gotta know. Thank you, Holy Ghost. You gotta know your original DNA to go into your true self. All right. So Meal Prep Monday. I feel like I'm on the soapbox. And y'all know this is the second week I can't find my notes. Like, this is crazy. But that's okay. Because this is the thing. What I want you to do this week, because last week I told you, come into, like, ask yourself some real questions. Now that you've asked yourself these questions, what I want you to do is to be willing to know, one, understand that you can't be your true self in its totality without knowing Jehovah God. So you've got to be willing, like I said, we're peeling layers back of our onion. So you got to be willing to look at you. You've got to be willing to ask yourself those questions. You don't know the questions I'm talking about? Go to last week's. All right. No videos ever more than 30 minutes. Find the questions. Ain't that hard. All right. There's like 4 questions. But when you start asking yourself these things, you got to be willing to then not lean to your own understanding. We got to stop taking our own understanding and just laying it there. Y'all know that a lot of what's hurting the world right now when it comes to the religious sector, or, Christ believers and all of that, because many people can believe him, but that doesn't, just because you believe God doesn't mean you know God. Okay. You got to look at the fruit that people bear. All right. If God is love, then you should be loved. Do you see the fruits of love? Not the man-made love, the fruits of love. Is this person patient, kind? Do they suffer long? Like, do they like not keep record of your wrongdoing? Like, all of those things. When you get to a place where you know the original of you, because you know that's you, right? Because if you were created in his likeness and his image, then that means that is who you are. So when you're not patient, you're not your true self. Impatience is not who you are. Well, Nicole, you don't understand the agitation. I don't. But you don't understand my agitation. But when we start knowing our true self, we know where to pull to. We can be patient. We can be kind. All right? Someone can wrong us, and we actually really can still love them. All right. Anybody who wrestled with anything I said, you don't understand your true identity, and you don't understand your true gift of yourself. You are a gift of God. Anyone who encounters you shall handle you like a gift, and you should be a gift to them. If that ain't the case, you still working to find your true self. All right? We're all working to find our true self. I'm working to find my true self. Okay? So here's the deal. Meal Prep Monday. What do I want you to do? Man, we need to do a class on this, right? I want you to recognize you can be full of knowledge. You can be full of knowledge about God and still not know him. Knowledge is dangerous without relationship because you can become proud and arrogant. The more you know in yourself, the more you start smelling yourself. You got to be careful, okay? Think about someone who is just like a Bible scholar, like they know all these scriptures. They can throw them to you. They can judge you by them. They can remind you of them. But do you see them live them? Okay? A lot of times we can have head knowledge. And when we have head knowledge without the relationship or the knowing, we can believe what we know. We can believe what we read. But if we don't know it, and what makes you know stuff is experience with it. Okay? When you experience it. So I can tell you I love you all day. And you can believe it because you're like, oh, she's nice to me. You know, I believe she loves me. But when you get to experience my love, you'll know it. So then when someone comes and tries to put their mouth on me to you, you'll be like, nah, There's a confidence and an assurance that comes when you know something versus believing something. Because you can say, oh no, Nicole loves me. And someone can challenge that. Does she? Has she done this for you? Has she done this? Has she done that? Whatever they equate love to. And if you've never experienced love with me, you'll be like, well, I don't know. Doubt can come if there's not a knowing with your belief. Wow. Maybe I wasn't supposed to get the notes. What time? It's 10:26. I dropped my phone. Hold on. It's 10:26. So meal prep Monday. Why am I saying all this? I want to remind you this week that you are a gift. I want you to be intentional to look at yourself like a gift, as the gift that you are. But as intentional as you are to do that, in order to stay submissive and humble, not arrogant and proud, you have to do it with a willingness to want to know and encounter God. Okay? Well, Nicole, I've encountered God before. That's beautiful. But y'all know encounters should be ongoing because we're progressing, we're growing. So we should desire countless encounters. We should want to experience him. When you experience the true self of you, you will encounter yourself. All right? You will encounter. There's no way that you can encounter the true you without having encounter with Jehovah God, because he's who created you. We don't even look at it like that. I keep telling y'all this journey is so simple, but what's simple to do is also simple not to do, because we take the simplicities of this journey and we want to complex them. It's that simple. Okay? We're spirit with a soul wrapped in this flesh. And because we're earthbound, because we're human, because we're mankind, it is our natural instinct to respond from our flesh. So much that even though we can believe we're spirit, we can believe these things, we're not experiencing the spirit enough to have an encounter to change our outward, that we can walk in the fullness of us. Nutshell, that's what I'm trying to say this week. Okay? So I want us to be intentional. One, not only believe that your spirit with a soul wrapped in flesh, But allow that belief to push you to want to have a relationship with the creator of you so that you can experience who he is, so that you can know who you are through encounters with your true self. The more you encounter your true self, I guarantee you'll like you even more. Okay? And then you won't depend on what the world thinks and what the world says, but you'll be able to counteract. All you need to become the best version of you unapologetically. And you will do it in a posture of submission and humility, never arrogance and pride, because you will begin to outwardly pour out who you truly are anyway. That's who I want to know. That's who I want you to know with me. I don't want you to know the flesh of me. I don't want to be in the flesh of me. Okay? This journey, I want us to get all that we're supposed to get, and I want us to give all that we're supposed to give. But I want it to be whole, healthy, and prosperous. All right? So 10:30, never want to go past that time. Remember to stay focused, stay humble, stay positive. Be the best version of you unapologetically in your true self, because no one can be you. No one can do you better than you, because you are the gift that we need. All right? You're needed in the world, not just to your friends, family, loved ones, and enemies. It's bigger. All right? So continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.